oh. It's what we get, it's what we give, and what we give is what we share. No matter condition, no matter the weather, where we there for this Nigeria. A peace and love is all we need. A change of heart will make you free. And whatever you do, I try to know say Adara, Adara, oh Nigeria, Adara, 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 oh Bope Bodola, Adara, Adara, oh Nigeria, Adara, 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 oh Bope Bodola, Nigeria, Adara.
Scientifically, growing means natural increase in size as time goes when a cell develops, and growing is also a sign of metamorphosis. This is the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France, and this is an independence episode. It's a special episode to talk about Nollywood and in tandem with the independence of Nigeria. We're going to be looking at how Nollywood is also growing with Nigeria. This is a special independent episode of the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. I remain your regular host, Demola-sanyaolu. Don't go anywhere. We're still here and we'll be right back. And today on the Backstage Story show, the Independence episode, I have a very special guest with me. We've been on this show together once, and he's a veteran and he has a lot of knowledge about Nollywood and its metamorphosis so far. We've decided to bring him back on the show again. I have with me Victor Olauton, popularly called Uncle Victor. Uncle Victor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, Uncle Victor, for the record purpose, I think you need to give us an itinerary of your history.
Basically, I'm one of the few ones that was lucky and favored in the industry. Came up back in the late 60s. I experienced what professional performing arts is all about, and early 70s I got my feet wet in some professional productions, namely Olarotimi's Got an Out to Blame, and then my debut as a professional actor in Laolu Oguniyi's Candle in the Wind back in the early 70s. I was a member of the defunct professional performing company of University of Ibadan called the Unibadan Masks, which was the Hollywood of Africa, as we used to call it back then. And looking back at how things had been all the way we came to this present age of Nollywood, basically the industry is older than Nigeria. I mean, we all know that. Nigeria has been in the industry of shooting films and performing arts since the early 1900s, when the British, amalgamated Nigeria. Looking at what is going on in the current times in the industry, I see a little bit of improvement in terms of TV production. But as for film, I believe we still have a long way to go. Like I said, if Hollywood is shooting a movie with $200 million or $300 million, it will cost that much to shoot it anywhere else in the world. Because if we are talking of the same technology and the same personnel, the only leeway for Nigeria might be cheap labor. And actors are cheaper in Nollywood than Hollywood, basically. But we came a long way. And looking back 20 years when the so-called Nollywood name was formed, there had been a lot of differences. Compared to what we used to do in the 70s, it has improved a little bit. And currently, there had been new cameras introduced into the business, which has made the production a little better to watch. But we still have problems with our sound in Nigerian film industry, which is something that we need to look into and improve on. And looking at the current state of actors' welfare, producers, crew, and all that, we have a very long way to go. Because basically the industry is still abusing, the labor force resources that Nigeria has, which means people are not properly paid up till now, while the producers are making the killing, which I think we need to look at, and there should be an improvement.
All right, this is still the Backstage Story Show on Nollywood Radio France, and I have a special guest with me, Victor Olaotan. Is a popular face in the movie industry, and he also started this industry with them. The first episode of a soap on NTA. You want to tell us about that soap and compare with the progression of the Nollywood industry with when you started? Let's do a flashback.
Well, I left for the US back in the late 70s. Before I left, we started a soap called Winds Against My Soul. Laolu Oguniyi, who was a producer-director back then, came from England with a dream. Fortunately or unfortunately, maybe the dream is halfway, achieved currently, because man is still alive, he's still writing scripts, but they are not showing. Laolu Oguniyi started Winds Against My Soul, which I can categorically say he was the one that introduced Nigeria to soap operas. Fortunately, unfortunately, time has consumed his resources, and today he's sitting out there in Ibadan, and I'm hoping that somehow, somewhere, we'll find a way to bring him back, because I know in terms of intellectual properties, he is well endowed.
Nollywood and progression. Nigeria is 54, and you mentioned that Nollywood is older than Nigeria itself. Now, during the colonial masters regime, would you say there was any form of activity in terms of drama, in terms of acting, in the context of Nigeria?
Yes. University of Ibadan is more than 54 years old.
Yeah.
And the first theater arts department in Nigeria started there. So there were play productions there.
Okay.
And Ibadan, known for the, advent of drama and theater in Nigeria, including the Yoruba theater, which came out of Oshogbo. And the environs, maybe Ede, Iwo, and the rest of them. All the artists from that area, the Kola Ogumolas, Drola Dikbos, Oyinade Jobis, that came into the limelight back in the 60s and 70s. You can see that there had been a lot of difference in what we do today. But I can tell you categorically that there was more material then. We had intellectual properties of quality, more quality then than now. Our writings has depreciated a little bit. I don't know why, and I'm sure it's probably because of the culture of stage production, because most stage productions has to be specific, precise, and on the point. Unlike soap operas now that we have people ad-libbing on set and all kinds of stuff. Stage production, you can't forget your lines or else production is done. So, but in TV, there's a lot of magic that people do to cover up, slip-ups here and there. I see that there are some things that still need to be done today in terms of how we produce or perform in the theater. When the British was here, we were using the British system of film. They have been in film for many years before they even came here and all that stuff. So we were like British standard. But when the British left and the Nigerian factor set in, people started compromising in the quality of production, which has affected what became of Nollywood. We are shooting video, and the world is shooting celluloid. And I think we need to go to 35 mm to bring out the best in Nigeria. Like I always say, we have not started telling the story of Nigerian drama. When the time comes, even Hollywood will distribute our movies.
Wow. Oh, you've been listening to Victor Olauton, the veteran actor. Let's talk about associations. There in recent times, a lot of associations have sprung up. ANTP, TMA, a lot of names and a lot of criticisms, a lot of betrayals, leading to a lot of all these associations springing up. Association way back and now. What would you like to say? Were you in any form of association way back, and are you still in any association right now?
Well, when I was working for NTA Ibadan back in the 70s, they had an association that came up called Ratawu, Radio and Television.
Okay, that's still existing now, yeah.
It still exists. I was a member then, but I had gone abroad and came back.
Okay.
Since I came back, I think maybe the ANTP I've tried to affiliate with. But because of the confusion within the organization in terms of leadership, and Nigeria generally, maybe Africa generally, we always have leadership problems. And this is, relative to our industry here in Nigeria. And because of that lack of unity among leadership, there had been some confusion as to what organization anyone belongs to. So everybody just wake up one day and start an organization and call it whatever name. Right now, I believe personally that the whole of Nigerian production should be under one umbrella. America is a bigger country than Nigeria many times. Yeah. And all the associations are under one umbrella, and it has made their industry so viable. And I think it helps in them, being very relative in their financial industry. Even in political arena, most of the Nollywood stars need to endorse one candidate or the other for them to get, good recognition and recommendation. Now, in Nigeria, because everybody now has, maybe because of the diverseness in our cultures and language, it has been a little bit of a problem for us to come together as one. We have the Hausa industry, we have the Yoruba industry, we have the independent English industry, and we have the mainstream English industry. We have Nollywood. And now developing is Igbo industry. Now, That has been a problem. And I believe as, educated people, as intellectuals, we can all come together and say, look, you can have your individual industries in different names, but there has to be one umbrella that every organization comes under, where we will operate, vis-a-vis dealing with the government, corporations, or any other organization that sponsor arts in Nigeria. Unfortunately, the government has not fully gotten involved in that industry, which I have learned is a very viable industry financially. In fact, bigger than our oil industry. And I wonder why.
I was just coming to that.
I wonder why the government is still laid back on getting involved. They need to, stipulate laws, regulate laws, and make sure the industry is tight. I'm sure it will go a long way in improving the citizenry of Nigeria.
All right, this is still the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France, and I have been speaking with Victor Olauton. Now, Uncle Victor, oil boom, Nollywood boom. What comparison do you think? Because at a point there was a boom in the Nollywood industry. Nobody actually could say when, because it came up so spontaneously, and it caught everybody unawares, and then it became a trend, and then wishy-washy things started coming in because a lot of people say, oh, this is a money-making venture and it's easy. So we had wishy-washy producers, wishy-washy movie production. Now, oil boom, Nollywood boom, vis-a-vis Nigeria's 54-year anniversary. What would you like to say about it?
Well, I know when the white man left the shores of Nigeria, they didn't know the oil boom was going to become what it had become today. And when oil boom came about,
if they had known, probably they wouldn't have left us.
Yes, I'm sure Nigerians and government alike did not realize what Nollywood is going to become or what the oil boom will be in comparison to Nollywood today. If they knew, they would have been involved in Nollywood maybe 20 or 30 years ago. Now it's not too late. Oil boom and Nollywood boom, I think Nollywood boom are taking over oil boom right now. Even then, there are some people that are still, practicing in the oil boom arena, making money. I think Nollywood and Nigerian film industry is the future of this country. If you look at developed nations, for example, America, Hollywood, England, Germany, all the movie industries all over the world, they are very relevant in the affairs of government and the finances of those governments. And since we Nigerians have not seen that, we don't have that foresight. I'm sure it will catch us unaware if some other country come to harness the spoils of this industry. Now, South Africa has come into Nigeria, and they are the one that are really enjoying the fruits of the labor of the industry right now. And it's not too late for Nigeria to wake up and catch up before it gets too late. A lot of materials and intellectual property has gone under the bridge that maybe it might not be able to retrieve even for future sake. But for posterity, I believe that the government of this nation need to get involved, because Nollywood boom is the future of this country.
ọ̀rọ̀ ìlú Nàìjíríà. ìlú Nàìjíríà. ọ̀rọ̀ ìlú Nàìjíríà yóò. ìlú Nàìjíríà. kálọ̀ kan balẹ̀ wàrà. ìlú Nàìjíríà. ó gbọ́ wá tó wà lọ́rọ̀ ó dájú. ìlú Nàìjíríà.
All right, I've been speaking with Victor Olauton, the veteran actor on Nollywood Radio France on the Backstage Story show. Now, let's talk about taking care of the aged. in this industry. There is the growing process. We all face it. But the fear of the unknown is that, I'll get to a certain stage and I won't be able to be as active as I was way back. Now, the industry, there's a lot of associations coming up, and there is no plan for people that are growing old in this industry that have contributed immensely to the progress, or that have laid a very viable foundation for those that are now stepping on those foundations, and they are forgetting the aged. What do you have to say about this?
When you mention this particular question, it makes me feel like crying. I have some examples in my head of what some of our past legends have become. We have the likes of Oluokekonye, Jimmy Sholanke, Tunji Oyelano,
Babasala,
Laolu Okuni. These people are not where they are supposed to be. Their contemporaries in America are billionaires today, and they are sitting on serious wealth of intellectual property. Unfortunately, Nigeria is the way it is. Most leaders and most of our powers that be, people who are holding positions of authority, they prefer to help when the whole world is looking.
Hypocrisy.
If you go under and say, excuse me, sir, I need this, they say, I can't help you. But when you publicize it and the whole world knows that you are asking for money from this person or from that, they will say, oh yes, we give him 5 million naira, 10 million naira. One of my friends just died not too long ago by the name of Ayoluwa-Sami. He was working with some production company, and he left the production company. But I knew that he was financially constrained. And by the time he died, I wouldn't believe that he was living well. He was sick and probably could not afford to take care of his sickness. And he's an artist of old. In fact, he came from the Yoruba theater into the English theater. He's one of those crossover artists. And the man died, just like that. And we have many others that have died in this industry that, care was not taken. People just felt they have done their best and they can go. And that's the problem I'm coming to in terms of government getting involved in the industry. Because there are no regulations, no laws that people abide by. But you have multinationals come in here, they get intellectual property, go away with it, and most of your actors, as we perform, nothing comes after the pay, and the pay is not fantastic. So, and that has been a problem. So the government really need to look into that, because when you improve the lot of your citizens, it will reflect in your government. And you, as an individual leader, can walk free amongst your people. How many times will you run abroad to go and take care of yourself or to go and enjoy yourself when you can enjoy yourself where you are? Look at Dubai. They created a heaven in their own land. They don't have to travel anywhere to have good life. And we can do the same here. We have the wherewithal. We have the resources, either, human resources or financial resources. We are capable. And it's not being done. That needs to come into the industry. They need to make sure that producers and production houses and multinational companies, either in the advertising, either in the modeling, either in the music, either in the performing. For example, the music has started something by Chief Tony Okoroji. He's tried to get some, claims for musical artists, and most of them are getting something back, which is still not the real thing, but at least that's a start, and that has to get into the performing industry and the modeling industry, so that most of our artists don't just lay waste and die in vain. So that at least for all the works that we have enjoyed them doing, for the kind of contribution they have put into society, at least they'll be able to get something back and won't go into their graves sad and poor.
ní ká ṣe bí ẹni pé òun.
a ò ní rọ́bọ̀ mú la ṣe ní ká ṣe bí ọ̀bọ.
Elédùmarè ọba ojú wọn wà nílùú Nàìjíríà yìí.
All right. Yeah, you've been listening to Victor Olauto on the Backstage Story show. Now, Uncle Victor, the cohesiveness amongst practitioners, cohesiveness amongst the cast, the crew in Nollywood industry, would you say this has contributed, the lack of cohesiveness? Because it seems there is no unity. We have a lot of pockets of association coming up, and that seems to deter the cohesiveness amongst the practitioners in this industry. What do you think can be done to bring everybody back under one umbrella, and then you talk with one voice, and then you can get government subvention or assistance or whatever to boost the Nollywood industry?
Training school. That is the key to bringing about good knowledge of the industry and respect amongst people. A lot of us go abroad to study, and when we come back, you don't have people with like minds to deal with. So right there's disparity in intelligent, exchange. And most actors who are up there look down at crews who they knew just came off the street to become a boom operator, because they didn't go through the proper channels to become a professional. So they look down on them, and probably half of them can't even speak good English or whatever the case may be. So they look down on them, unlike most of the countries that we are trying to imitate and copy their, technology and culture. If, as a crew, everybody has their own contribution into a production. As a crew, you have your training. As a camera, whatever, you have your training. As a producer, there is training for it to be a director and a producer. As an actor, there is training. So when everybody bring whatever they have on the table, on equal understanding, we'll know that everybody has their dues to pay, and you get the respect accordingly. Here in Nigeria, there's a problem between really understanding how to deal with one another, because there is no proper training school. If I went to UI and become a set, artist, set, builder, set director, or a props master or whatever, I earn a BA degree in sets, or earn a BA degree in props, and a BA degree in camera operating. If as an actor you have a BA degree in acting, you can't come to me and talk, just anyhow. I will tell you, look, you have your field, I got mine. And everybody will respect each other based on that. But the understanding of Nollywood, most of your crew and stage hands came off the street, and they are somebody's friend, somebody's brother that they want to help out. Oh yeah, you just help carry the boom, or they train them right on set. So most of the actors, probably the ones that are educated, know this. So they look down on them. So we need to have proper training schools, or maybe a few of the theater schools that are in Nigeria should expand their program. And one program that I advocate for till today is appreciation of arts, which everybody needs to learn, even including people who are not in the arts, so that they will be able to appreciate the artists and people involved in that industry.
All right, don't go anywhere. This is still the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. I'll be right back.
You got me going crazy. Wait, Duro, I need to get to you, Duro. You didn't make me go gaga. Duro, why you can't tell me to calm down? Baby, soon mommy jackalo, no time to waste, cause I'm burning inside for you. La la cuckoo la la. You got me going crazy. Oh my god. You got me feeling naughty. Oh my god. You got me going crazy. Oh my god. You got me feeling naughty. Oh my god. You got me going crazy.
Yes, you're still tuned to the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France, and it's a special edition, special Independence edition of this episode celebrating Nigeria's 54th independence anniversary. And I have been speaking with Victor Olaoton. Uncle Victor, it's nice to have you here. And now, what's your dream? What do you want to live to see about Nollywood in Nigeria?
I'm praying that one day in this country called Nigeria, we will have a big studio like the Paramount Pictures or some of the movie studios we see in Hollywood. Nigeria will have one of the biggest movie studios in Africa. My dream is to be the person that brings that about. And I'm still praying that I will find somebody somewhere, some entrepreneur that will enter into that partnership and we can make Nigeria great. My dream is to see Hollywood in Nigeria.
Try to do my best, try to figure who you really are. Baby, I don't know what you really want. Baby, you don't know just what you mean to me. Try to understand you, but it's really hard. Cause there's nothing you can say. We're like water and flames, and we can't see eye to eye on anything. Like water and flames, and there's nothing to say. And we can't see eye to eye on anything. You really only had to say those words, you know. Heaven knows I would have let it.
Oh, dream is to see Hollywood in Nigeria. Now, on a very final note, the young upcoming generation, they seem to be so energetic, so enthusiastic. The verve, you can't control the verve. And they seem to be going in the wrong direction. Money first, value after. It's supposed to be value first. When you add value, then the money comes. What's your advice?
Well, I think Nollywood has come to play a big part in changing people's mentality and vision about what the industry is about. You know that Nollywood was the word we call Nollywood today, apart from Nollywood for what the word means, the Igbo marketers came about and said, look, we can make Hollywood here. I praise them for that, and I really appreciate them for that. Until today, they still appreciate their own. Okay. The only theaters that I know we still have to, teach some appreciation is the Yoruba industry and the Hausa industry. Even the contemporary English industry, they tend not to know how to appreciate their artists. But I give credit to the Igbo marketers who started their production back 20 years ago, and they have been holding up. And I give serious kudos to them for that. But because of that, most young and upcoming, stars or actors or, performers, they tend to see the money and the glamour rather than, I love this profession for the passion of it. I watched the movie, I saw this actor, he inspired me. I want to be an actor. That's not the way, and that's not how it is in Nigeria. They saw one actor, maybe Mike Ezuruye or one of these Nollywood actor, bought a brand new Range Rover. Say, oh, me, I must get my own Range Rover, and I will be an actor and I will make it like him. Rather than schooling yourself, getting the training and putting the passion in, and all other things
will follow. Just
like the Bible said, when you have the belief in God, and every other thing will. Now, unfortunately, we have a few upcoming training schools. Even then, they don't really have the facilities the way it's supposed to be. I'm hoping to be part of some of those training schools, but we need to try to get proper training school. They have RADA in England. Somebody can affiliate with RADA, Somebody can affiliate with RADA and bring them to Nigeria. Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. We need things like that in Nigeria. I know one time one of the Nollywood actresses tried to bring some training school to Nigeria, but it has not been strong. There's no foundation for it. Those are the things we are lacking.
Mode one ni mode o. Yeah. Esu Jackson da bi one mode o. Aditu lele lumare oba. Mode one ni mode o. Yeah. Mode one ni mode o. Yeah. See, in this life we're living in, my brother, I thought we knew. Different people with different questions, they them couldn't find. Teba bi mi mariso, ton aye yo. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òjò ló ti rọ̀, tilẹ̀ ti fi mú. Àdìtú nílé ayé o, bí wájú ló kọ sẹ́ni, bẹ́yìn ló kọ sẹ́ni, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó yé. Àdìtú nílé ayé o ṣe o, bí wájú ló kọ sẹ́ni, bẹ́yìn ló kọ sẹ́ni, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ́la.
All right, this is a special edition of the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. Actually, it's the Independence edition. Nigeria is celebrating 54th year since the British colonial rule left us and granted us independence. And I've been speaking on this special episode with Victor Olaotan. He's a popular face in Tinsel. He was a lead role in Tinsel, and he saw the progression of Nollywood from the start, because it started with this industry on NTA. It was the first face on soap on NTA. Am I correct? Yeah. So, Victor, Uncle Victor, it's nice to have you, and I really appreciate your time, despite the weather condition, despite the schedule, and it's been awesome. Uncle Victor is the most humble person I've met in my life, because he had to deviate from his regular schedule to honor this invitation, this special episode, and it's nice to have everyone listening in, and I hope you enjoy this special episode of the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. And on this exciting episode of the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France, you have listened to the songs of Samuel Oluyinka Jegede, also known as Sojex. I will play the song titled Adara, and then you also listen to the song of Toyin Arifayan, also known as Arifik, Bemi Debire. I also played the song of Dele Agbeyo, popularly known as Dele Gold, Nigeria Adara. And Brenda Anthony Jacob was also here. Brenda, the song titled Oh My God was there. And Tijani Michael is not left out. Tijani Michael is Mikol. I had Nothing to Say on Mikol. And then Samuel Oluyinka Jegede's track, Aditu, was also there. I thank all these artists for contributing immensely to the production of Nollywood and to entertainment on Nollywood. They've been giving us their content to use with permission on this channel. We thank all of them. Until I meet you again, stay out of trouble, and let's make Nigeria great. Nigeria can be better than this. Confess positively about Nigeria. Pray for Nigeria. Other countries went through a lot of metamorphosis before gaining stability, before people envied them. Nigeria can become an enviable nation. Let's work together. Do your own little thing in your own little corner and build this country. Do your own little bit, and let me do my own little bit, and Nigeria will be a great and better place to live in. This is the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. My name remains Demola-sanyaolu. I'll see you same time on the next episode. Do well, keep well, and stay atop your game. Bye.
Mode one ni mode o. Yeah. Esu Jackson da bi one ni mode o. Aditu lele lumare oba. Mode one ni mode o. Yeah. Mode one ni mode o. Yeah. See, in this life we're living in, my brother, I thought we knew. Different people with different questions, they them couldn't find. Teba bi mi mariso, ton aye yo. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òjò ló ti rọ̀, tilẹ̀ ti fi mú. Àdìtú nílé ayé o, bí wájú ló kọ sẹ́ni, bẹ́yìn ló kọ sẹ́ni, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó yé. àdìtú nílé ayé ò ṣe o níwájú ló kọ sẹ́ni bẹ́yìn ló kọ sẹ́ni kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ́la 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 orí. See, this life you see is full of so much misery, my brother. The misery that life seeking, it always breaks their mind. In every answer life got to give to you, my sister. It's just a taste of choice, for you to change your ways. See, yes, I know what it feels like, yes, I know. I know what it feels when things are shattered. We can escape the misery of life, my brother, say we can. Yes, we can, even though we try. That is why I say, Aditsunile Ajeo, you are the local semi, Benny local semi, Oma said that, oh yeah, Aditsunile Ajeo, you are the local semi, Benny.